Here is your house price report for Sandhaven, December 2014. So for the benefit of people who may be watching this who don't actually live in Sandhaven, Sandhaven is a 55 plus adult community, basically at Gooshigan and Gordon, just one block up on Cameron Avenue. This information was prepared by myself, Lew MacDonald, with Realty Match here in Kelowna, and phone number 250-862-7022. So the information contained below is all homes sold during the last 6 months in Sandhaven, 1101 Cameron Avenue, and the surrounding area. So we're going to include basically all of the 55 plus adult communities, just simply because if you're considering selling, that is who you're going to be competing with, not just in your own community, but other similar communities such as Sandstone, which is on Cameron as well. So this report will give you a general idea of what homes are selling for, and even though they may look identical on the outside, on the inside they might be quite different. So just use the information as a general guide. It's hard to say that the one right next door is going to sell at the same price that yours will sell for, simply because we don't know the condition of the two, number of bedrooms, square footage, updates, etc. So just going into it, one of the really important things in my business, I gauge what I do by the feedback that I get from people who use my services. So what people are saying is a real important key to me, and should be to you as well when you're considering selling. So in this report you can read, there are a few examples of people that have used my services and how they feel about that and how they did. My goal in all of this is to help people get from where they are to where they want to be. After we get through the pricing report, there are 3 easy next steps depending on where you are and in the process. If you're considering selling in the next 6 months, you may want to take a look at the pinpoint price analysis. And what this is where we can really drill down and figure out exactly how much your home will sell for within that 60-day window, which is really kind of the key for maximizing price. We want it to sell in 60 days or less. The second one, and this one's if you're out a little bit further, not quite ready, is the room-by-room review. And what this is I can make specific recommendations about which fix-ups or improvements that you should do or shouldn't do to recoup and maximize, get the most bang for your buck. And of course the third one is my silent market. So what a silent market is homes that are not on the market yet. Typically we generate a lot of buyer interest from website and advertising and so forth, and it's kind of like a matchmaker service, whereas we're looking to line up or match a buyer with your home before it even goes on the market, assuming that you want to sell. So these 3 services are free and take less than an hour. Just give us a call and we can arrange a time that's convenient for both of us. So going into this month's report, we'll start off with average sales price for all 55 plus communities in Kelowna. Now this takes into account townhomes, single family homes, and condos, and does a complete analysis of that. So the chart that you're seeing here shows the pricing, the average pricing between January 2007 right up until today. And we can see we had a real spike in 2008, came way down, and actually in January 2011, looks like we had an average selling price of under 200,000. And don't get too alarmed with that. What has most likely taken place in that month, pardon me, is there was no sales of single family and probably several in condos. So the condo was heavily weighted and pulled the average price down. But as we see going into January of 2012, we can see that the pricing really started to kind of steady, a lot less fluctuations throughout here, and then slowly starting to climb. So that is a really good sign of a healthy market when we see a real slow, steady increase. So that's really good news for us, that it looks like our market has stabilized and has actually started to increase a bit. So then we take a look and we say, okay, well, what are the average days on the market, or days to sell a home, versus median in those same 55 plus communities in Kelowna? And the chart to the right tells us what's going on. So if we take a close look, we can see that the days to sell spikes typically in January. And we come along in January, and we come along and there's January. And next month, we're probably going to see this once again spike up for January. So if we take that out of the equation, we can go and we can see, okay, well, it takes typically between 50 and 100 days to sell a well-priced home in the market. And that's been true over the last 36 months. So what does this tell us going into next year? Well, this is a real key piece of information if you're considering selling your home in 2015. If you're thinking about selling, we look at this and we say, okay, well, we don't want to sell in January. Well, the time to list, if we wanted to sell in January, would be October, November. So what this is actually telling us, most people think, okay, I want to sell my home in the spring, so I'm going to list it for sale in April or May. And that is actually the wrong time, because we need to add that 60-day to 100-day window onto the end to market the home. And we're actually selling in the summertime with that. Where we want to be is we want to come onto the market right around the beginning of February, and then we pull out our 60 days to market, and sure enough, we're selling right in the spring, right in the peak of buying, and typically top dollar as well. So market timing is also very important in maximizing your selling price. So when we go into properties, and let's take a look at what's selling close by. So this first one on Gordon is actually still for sale. That one is not sold yet. Let's move down. Here's one in Sandstone, number 84. This one sold for $530,000. Number 89, this one sold for $362,000. This was actually my client that moved into this one. And here's another one in Sandstone, number 29, sold for $465,000. Number 16 in Sandstone sold for $376,000. Number 85 in Sandhaven sold for $293,753. Number 23 in Sandhaven sold for $402,500. Number 46 in Sandstone sold at $355,500. And you'll notice that sold above the asking price. That typically happens when we have multiple offers, meaning that more than one buyer wanted to buy the home, and the negotiation started and it went above the asking price of $349,000. Number 39 in Sandstone sold for $482,000. Here's one on 2200 Gordon that sold for $330,000. 148 in sandstone, sold for $438, full price. Number 31 in sandstone, sold for $510. Number 7 in Sandhaven, sold for $279. Number 49 sandstone, sold for $445.9. Number 56 in Sandhaven, sold for $415. 53 Sandhaven, sold for $312. Number 50 sandstone, sold for $333. 13 sandstone, sold for $365. 84 sandstone, sold for $433. Number 63 in Sandhaven, sold for $377. And that wraps up the sales in the last 6 months. If you're considering selling next year, take advantage of one of these free services. What I would suggest, number 2 is actually probably the best to take care of right now, which is the room-by-room review, where I'll make specific recommendations about the fix-ups to help you get from where you are to where you want to be. If you're not receiving this update by email, just fill out the form below and you'll start receiving it on a regular basis. Until next month, hope you have a great Christmas and a Happy New Year. Talk to you soon. Thank you.